I hear you on all the actions that the administration has taken. I hear you when you say that progress has been made, and that you were heartened by the fact that there was almost nearly universal condemnation by law enforcement of what happened to Tyree Nichols. And yet, in a new Washington Post ABC News poll, it found that public confidence in police dropped after what happened to Tyree Nichols in Memphis. 60% of Americans are more doubtful that police officers are properly trained to avoid excessive force. What do you make of that? How can you turn public perception around?
Look, I would have been shocked if it had been any other way. I mean, the video was put up for the nation to see, and in the aftermath of incidents like this is often a consequence, and the public starts to have a lot of questions. I think we are right to have these questions, but I think importantly, it's law enforcement leaders, it's command staff, it's rank and file, it's the police unions that need to be having these conversations. And I believe in many corners are having the right conversations about what is the culture in this department. It is hyper local work that ultimately needs to happen. Look, the federal government has the tools that we do, but ultimately this breaks down into important leadership at the local level to make the changes and to really evaluate. So there's been a big focus right now on specialized units, for example. Memphis had the Scorpion unit. And the focus, I think, I think every police chief in America should be right now looking at what, if they have specialized units, what are the tactics those units are using? What's the accountability and data that's coming back to supervisors to understand how officers are engaged in the field? Is that a roving unit that operates outside of the rules of the department? Is it the type of strategy that, I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of specialized units, but for the kinds of hotspot specialized units, is this the type of strategy that is actually bringing violent crime down? There have been a lot of scandals with these specialized units in cities around the country. And then when violent crime goes up, there's often a tendency to try to grapple at ways, obviously, to address and bring public safety. But, is the type of specialized unit that the Scorpion unit represented the answer, or is it focused deterrence, which really focuses on policing strategies that are looking at the people in communities that are engaged actively in violence and a much more kind of people-centric with wraparound community services, often with a lot of community input into public safety strategies? We've got to ask these questions, and we can't just go incident to incident saying, oh, this could never happen again, or this won't happen in my department. And that's why, for me right now, the Justice Department, I've asked our team to look into providing guidance for police chiefs that really, I think, all across the country need to be conducting reviews of their units if they're using it, and asking these really hard questions to make sure, not just in words, but that something like this doesn't happen again.